I do appreciate you. Thank y'all for the newest members. All right, the first couple members here on the Astro Tribe. All right, dropping in with the Astro Support membership. I want to say thank you tremendously. We have 5 on day 1, the first live. This is only my second live, and we already have 5 on the first one. So I want to say thank you. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Venus and Libra, okay, as a transit. But not only Venus and Libra, honestly, a lot of today is about to be about masculine, feminine principles, masculine and feminine sexualities, and how these things operate. The balance spectrum, Libra, the balance, okay. And to say that and to do that and to talk about that, we're gonna have to obviously talk about Aries and Libra, the two shadows of each other, right? And so Venus and Libra is that season where you got to be very careful. I feel like this is one of the ones where maybe what has gone underlooked for the longest is open enemies. And I say that and I speak about myself when I say it, okay? What's the month right now? We're in September. Okay, so we're already in the darker 6 months of the year. So from now, the sun goes down sooner, okay? The demons come out bigger, and they are, quite frankly, just badder than ever before. But I want to explain to you why that is, what open enemies actually looks like, because it's easy to think about a hidden enemy, all right, which is more like 12th house, but 7th house is open enemies. And the example I had really come up with earlier was like, think about yourself in a court system, all right, and understand that today, hey, Shireen, gang, okay, one of our first 5 members. This is my second live since I ran since, so forgive my excitement, all right? Forgive my sidetracking for the fact that this is possible. Thank y'all for those thumbs up. This is big. I'm happy Shireen was the first to comment because I've been having a lot of dreams, and a lot of them have actually been looking to do a lot of what this Aries full moon is leading us towards. On October 9th, we have a full moon in Aries. And a lot of what has been leading us towards is, like, in a sense, the revolution of the self. Okay? The revolution of the self. What do I mean when I say the revolution of the self? I'm saying there are certain scenarios when we are dealing with open enemies. And the thing about when I say open enemy, 7th house, Libra, is the people that you're aware you have as an adversary. The people you're aware of that you have as competition. And even so, I want you to think right now, like, who is an obvious open enemy? Go ahead and comment that. I did block off the chat for members only. I have only 1 membership. So part of me will want to ask that, whether you can or you can't. That's up to you. I'm kind of leaving it that simple, like it's up to you. But comment, like, think about it even if you can't. Like, who are the open enemies? Like, and so I like to think of this as the courtroom, right? You have a plaintiff and you have a defendant. So this is Libra. This is Libra. You have a plaintiff and you have a defendant, right? So it's pretty obvious one is defending themselves and one is prosecuting the case. Now, when you're on the side of that and you have a judge in the middle, right? You have a judge in the middle, you know on the other side, this is your enemy. This is a prime example. If you're in a court system, this is a prime example of an open enemy. Now, outside of that, which maybe not be your everyday, who's your open enemy? Your open enemy is usually the person you're either in business with, okay? Not one owning the other, not you having a boss, right? Your open enemy wouldn't be a boss, it'd be who you're in business with. So when I look at this Venus and Virgo transit, how it leads to the moon, it's like, it's more about like your business partners, who you're in business with. That can easily be open enemies simply because Libra is the mind and they have different ideas. You have different ideas. Especially around this time of the year, September, October, Libra season, where we have passed the fall equinox, where, in all sincerity, up front until October 19th, I wouldn't really try to push forward any of your new ideas with any sense of commitment or vigor, because until October 19th, things are not going to be clear enough. So right now, we're just formulating, we're talking it out, we're pushing forward in this new season of, intelligence, this new season of thought, this new season of, polished. After the Virgo season, which polished, got rid of, and purified the irrational fears and the mental patterns in our mind, right? So after that, you're now looking at what else? Relationships. So likely somebody you're in love with, likely somebody who's a good friend or a best friend of yours, who may have conflicting arguments, conflicting ideas, somebody that you're likely debating with on a day-to-day. So just think about it, like, who are you debating with on a day-to-day? Potentially who brings up anger within you, because the shadow of Libra is the anger coming from being too passive-aggressive. So you're going to have in Venus in you're going to have in this Venus and Libra transit, a lot of people will become your opposition and they will start to debate you or argue with you, but in a way where they may not take the position where they're full out arguing with you or they're full out in a battle or a war with you, because the shadow side of this is looking at and saying very clearly, hey, look at me. I'm gonna check that in a second. My open enemies reveal themselves in the astral always, and this has been happening. This has been truly happening. I've been having, like I said in the beginning, I've been having dreams. Open enemies are very clear. It's like, look, essentially, who are the people trying to pin you down? But just because they're an open enemy doesn't mean they're necessarily obvious with their attack. And that's the Venus in Libra. While the Sun is in Libra, right now the Moon is at the critical degree of 29 in Libra as it steps into Scorpio, which it might be in Scorpio right now. It might be in right now, honestly. It might have been like 30 minutes ago. So point being, you are starting to stack up Libra planets. Mercury is going to go direct October 2nd. It's going to be direct right before October 9th when we have a full moon in Aries, where you're going to come into full illumination, maybe like 4 or 5 days after, of what is this part of myself that's been clarified, that's been strengthened, that I'm able to be more bold with as I'm in the war with passive aggression. That's the key, because Libra is not aggression like Aries, it's passive aggression. So it's like trying to get their point across, trying to want to fight, but doing it with intelligence. And essentially being able to mask narcissism, literally at like some of the highest degree. The only one that may be more masterful at masking narcissism is either Aquarius, or even potentially awkwardly Gemini. I say potentially and awkwardly Gemini because Gemini would do it, but almost like it'd be so good at it because it'd be more accidental, more narcissism coming from just being curious and freaking floating around and playing. But Aquarius would be more like, nah, it's just a masterful narc. But Libra is kind of somewhere in that middle where like it actually is one of the most dangerous signs in astrology, quite frankly, in the ways in which it's able to form an argument, to form all of its thoughts and ideas and intelligence through the purification process, getting rid of everything that does not belong. You feel me? Boom. Look at the accuracy. So what this is coming up with is like, understand that like, your open enemies are likely the person that you're in love with or the person you have love for. Whether it's a friend, a business partner, or your actual lover. You must be careful during this season, especially for the next 6 months, because the sun is not out anymore. Now, the fact that we have Jupiter in retrograde, these things are going to start going opposition, right? The full moon in Aries will be in opposition to all the Libra energy. You're going to have Jupiter in Aries, opposite sign, shadow sign of Libra, in opposition. You have Chiron, the healing of the identity, the healing of the wounds that you've gained at some point before you were old enough to recognize what these wounds would be. Just something where it was not your fault, but it become later in life your responsibility. To recognize through your attempts to heal yourself, whatever your Chiron is, okay, Chiron and Aries, like through those attempts to heal yourself, self-Aries, how have you essentially failed again, but you gained a lot of abilities to be able to help and assist others through those wounds, and all you discover that you can't help yourself with, it does work and help others, okay? This season is something that I want to go deeper in on a different day. I want to give a little bit of background on it, and I want to actually want to shift gears around the open enemy season and say that the enemy right now is essentially the people you care and love about the most, because they're wearing a mask, and that's why this cover was like this. This is the season where, with clear logic and rational thinking, you're going to be able to see the fake and the phony, and the people wearing a mask, and the people that's not willing to be the real, their true selves. And it's the season where if you're in a relationship, if you're not really taking these things serious, you're going to lose these business partners. You're going to lose these friends. All right, I was just looking at it, and I'm like, I'm about to get somebody who like I consider a friend. They about to get off my Instagram. It's about to happen, because in reality, it's like they were my friend, but through the purification process, they're not going to make it through this next stage. This is just me having to understand and accept that I have grown and outgrown this friendship. And that's something that in Libra season, you're going to recognize who are the friends you're just outgrowing. What are the lovers and the relationships that you're just outgrowing? As retrograde and Mercury has already gone back, shown you mental patterns, shown you mental behaviors from the past, from past relationships, even if that person, even if that ex did not come back, but you were mentally thinking about what is being reminded and reminded of you. For me, it was one of the things very simple. I had to recognize very clearly for me, myself, blast off, gang, love it, Shireen. You freaking make me so happy. Yeah. Yeah. Open enemies in the astral realm. Yeah. Shireen, last night in my dream, I saw sevens everywhere. 7,000. Okay. And it's interesting because there were so many things happening. I was pumping gas. It might have been the first time in my life I was pumping gas at a gas station. And actually a guy offered to pay my bill. And I actually ended up paying it myself, and he offered after. He's like, yo, you want to take my card? You want to pay for your gas? So, but whatever. Among other things, more happened. But I'm dropping the emojis. Oh no, it didn't work. Oh no, I did it wrong. I'm gonna do it right. Okay. Bam. Okay, I had to do it. I just love it. I love it so much. All right, listen. I'm gonna actually shift gears, and I want to talk about Libra and the balancing of masculine and feminine energy. Okay. Oh, they're not letting me do it like that. Whatever. I'm gonna ignore them in the moment. I'm gonna just stop. No. Oh crap! I'm doing all types of wild stuff. All right. Tech is not my day. It's not my day. I'm gonna call retrograde on that. Do take a moment to check out the membership. All right. See what the benefits are. Understand that if you're getting readings with me, you do get 10% off your discounts. So the irony is, if you did get a reading, 10% off is already putting you above the threshold, quite frankly. All right. So I'm gonna come back. Masculine and feminine energies, the polarities of both. Right now, I realized Tantra has been a discussion that has been coming up. I honestly feel like it's one of the evolutions I'm going through again, and this has been like multiple times where like Tantra has been discussions on my channel. But I had seasons where I had to shift gears and bring it back. So I'm going to try to help understand what Tantra is, how does Libra play a role in this, especially with Aries as the shadow self. So it's like, understand Aries always pushes forward for a new self, a new personality, a new body, right? And it's like, when you talk about it like that, what is masculine energy? What's feminine energy? And let's try to help break this down right now. So when I think of masculine energy off the rip, like the first simplicity to masculine energy is purpose and direction. And I'm going to type it out. I'm going to say now, purpose, so we don't forget this one, and direction. I'm actually really enjoying right now these days that like too many people can't comment, because I can focus a little bit easier actually instead of responding. And we're going to say woman. All right, we're going to say attraction. And these are just keywords, right? This is not everything. I'm going to explain it, but I'm going to do it as a benchmark. Attraction, female or feminine energy, attraction, support, magnetism, which is like the most consistent element in all of reality, even from a scientific standpoint, okay? Magnetism, we're going to say chaos, destruction. You see how many more things the woman has? She's really important. Chaos. I guess we can keep destruction the same. Chaos, destruction. I'm going to say destruction. I feel like it's important. All right. So for now, I'm going to keep it as simple as that. Right? These are the traits. If I think masculine energy and its divinity, okay? And its divinity. And you have feminine energy and its divinity. And at the heights of those, this is what it works. This is how it works. This is where your relationships are going to matter, and the sexuality of it, as understanding the masculine and the feminine comes together and balancing out the two, purifying the two. You ready? You have a man. We're going to keep this very simple, and I'm going to give a fact up front, a scientific fact, that 80% of people, man or woman, 80% of people will choose, okay, whether they are representing a predominant masculine energy or predominant feminine energy, right? 80%. So if I'm a male, I'm basically going to pick and choose. Am I going to represent a predominant? Okay. Oh crap! What did I do? Sorry, y'all. I just got into a deep ass thought. I'm about to go in tonight. All right. I haven't gone live in a couple of days. What I didn't realize is I was saving my energy for this moment as we take off the mask. Okay. So masculine energy or feminine energy, 80% biologically will choose, even if you are a lesbian, even if you are a homosexual, it would not matter if you were a dyke, if you were non-gender, it doesn't matter if you were non-binary, it doesn't matter. Biologically, at least at a scientific level, and there are limitations to science, so do understand it, take that with a grain of salt, okay? Will choose masculine focus or feminine focus, okay? 10% will choose, in a sense, non-binary and actually be honest with themselves, emotionally honest, intellectually honest, all types of honesty with themselves, okay? And then another 10%, so 10 will be non-binary, and then the last 10% will be a man who actually is choosing feminine energy as his dominant, and it's a part of his real life biological wiring. And then the same thing for the women. 10% of women will be a woman, and 10% will work and choose to be in this masculine form. So what am I saying? The majority of us are wearing masks, right? Because women are, in the masses, hyper extending and hyper active in their masculine energy. And this is basically I'm a strong, independent woman. Okay, thank you for the likes and the thumbs up. I appreciate you. All right, so that makes sense. And then men, all right, in this culture have accepted and embraced emasculinity, right? And they're basically being bitch made, quite frankly. I mean, in all simplicity, like, they've become bitch made. Like, it's like they're, and the magic of this purification process, this balancing act of like divine justice between the man and the woman, is simple as this. You ready? It's as simple as this. We needed that disbalance because men were they were very toxic in their masculinity, and it's a lot of why the world has basically gone out of balance, because we have hid the importance of women. We hid, like literally we hid the importance of women. We erased them from history. We pretended that they never had the roles that they had. We pretended that kings have actually had the ability to make the world as beautiful and flourishing as it was, when in reality they lied, and the kings just erased the women from the books. They erased the women from history, from society, from any and all important things that they have done. So Venus and Virgo will now bring that balance back and help us to understand, and the rectification and the purification of that insolence and so much more. Now, on the opposite, you got women. I do want to say thank y'all for the thumbs up, all right, for any of y'all that's joining in. And now you got the women who responded in their own way, right? They responded in their own way. My freaking things are acting crazy. All right, they responded in their own way, and in a lot of ways, rightfully so. This is the part where we had to go off, where women started to understand very clearly, like, I can't overpower a man physically. I can't approach him head on. So now you have the birth of passive aggression. Passive aggression. This is one of Libra's traits, passive aggression. One of Libra's traits. Libra has a bunch of things, so stick with me. Okay. Oh, I got the 20 on today. Okay, good boy. Okay, so women have chosen to recognize, okay, look, I can't overpower this man. They were being beat, they were being raped, right? They're being mistreated, mishandled, okay? And now you have the rise of things like Me Too, feminism movements, okay, that are more on the positive outlook and more. Now, the problem is they eventually begin to become the best masters by choice, not by design, not by biological makeup, the masters of emotional and psychological manipulation. And no man can actually keep up with his purpose and direction, like I typed in the chat, okay? No man can actually keep up with his purpose and direction, while a woman in all of her divinity was having so much time to focus on passive aggressively manipulating the kingdom, okay, where really she was in charge. She's really the king in the queen's position. In the queen's position, she's really the one ruling. She has all of the fancies and the things she values, but through psychological and emotional manipulation. Now, that was a part of her and what she needed to do in adaptation, so no fault to her. Okay. Now, the difference is time continued to progress. And eventually, men became too much men. Men became too out of control because they cut out the woman, right? And woman became too hungry for power because she realized that she can make that man, or the king of the country, the king of the civilization, the king of the world, she realized that she can basically run the kingdom, but from behind the scenes, because men were weak, quite frankly. Men were insecure, and men needed the validation from their women, even though they cut them out of history, right? Even though they mistreated them, raped them, okay, beat them, made them look stupid in front of others. What they didn't realize was women was really in charge. Okay, great. Now, in modern time, all right, and I'm going to say this again, men, or male, was purpose and direction, the two simplest of things, right? I'm going to copy and paste real quick the woman. And I'm going to get with me, stick with me, because this is not something I can push out. This is the kind of thing that can stay in a person's life. Like me speaking about this and speaking about women so boldly, okay? This is the type of thing that can stay in a person's career forever if I don't do it right. So I'm just gonna have to say, whether you catch this, you vibe with it, you vibe with it. If you don't, then fuck off. Okay. If you don't, this is what I'm gonna give you. I love the emoji. Join the tribe, yo. Go ahead and support your boy out. Understand that these costs go towards my Canva, because I make these kick-ass flyers, even though not all of them are what they are, because sometimes I just be busy. Website designs to host the memberships, okay? I'm going to leave all the rest of the cost out. Quite frankly, I got to pay the government so much, it's ridiculous. The last platform I looked at that I'm hosting is $888 a year. It's ridiculous. Okay, so we're going to get to the women. So as we go towards modern time, here's the problem. That power, that lack of power on both ends has made sexuality suffer tremendously. And we forgot the fact that it takes a man and a woman to equate to divinity. Okay? You see the triangle, it's everywhere. Even a dollar bill in the US, you got the triangle. There's so many meanings to this. With the eye in the middle, that's the third eye, among other things, okay? I'm not gonna get too, what's that thing called? I don't even know the word. Whatever, I'm gonna leave it out. It's probably not meant to be said. Okay, so when we really get down to it, here's the real issue. This purification in Virgo, Libra season, the balancing, the divine justice is saying, look, men, you too bitch made in this day and age. Women, you've become too dominant, too domineering, okay, too power hungry, too independent. We needed everybody to go off balance to experience. Men needed to experience what it meant to be emasculated. And women needed to experience what it meant to actually be in charge and become an independent woman who can do everything that the man was doing before, right? Whatever it is, securing the home, paying the bill, whatever the hell it is, keeping everybody safe. And great, you did it. Now what we're doing is we're coming back, which means what? Women, I'm going to say this now, women are needing to return to this. to return to their nature, which is right down there. All right, how do I get rid of this thing? I don't know. Okay, women who are returning back to divinity, male returning back to divinity, women, this is what it's starting to look like. Your biggest suffering right now in the relationships, Libra, the biggest suffering is that you no longer know how to surrender. What came very natural to you. Women know how to, oh, I forgot, I never put that. I never put that. Okay, because this is one of the main, okay. I'm going to go like this, surrender. And I have to explain and express, what does surrender mean? Right? I have to explain and express that. What does surrender mean? We're going to give you the peace and the love sign. Okay. I'm really enjoying this teaching process. Ain't nobody can comment anymore unless you join that membership, so do it or not. Okay. Women, because I swear I'm running lives with no more comments unless you're a member. It's just what it is. And I like it. I'm starting to see the benefit of this because I can think more clearly. I'm not trying to solve everybody's problem anymore live in the moment, rather than energetically solving the problems of the people that are actually with us. So women, the main thing I forgot is your ability to surrender. Now, surrender is not some bitch-made thing, and we have to stop looking at that. And this is the problem, because most women have grown up already in a hyper-masculated culture, where they had to come out here and learn how to survive and try to get jobs and try to get raises. And, you know, they fought for so many women's rights thing. Hit the thumbs up. I do appreciate you if you're rocking with the message. Hit the thumbs up. You fought for so many things where what I feel women truly have forgotten is that, like, you don't actually want to fight. You fought because you got stuck in a place of survival. And rightfully so. Now, the difference is, understand as well that you also don't just represent surrender, you don't just represent attraction, support, or magnetism, but you also represent chaos and destruction. So what am I saying? Right now, women are in a place where they are actually being required to come back to their nature and actually destroy, to actually cause and create chaos in a way that dismantles the current structures set up not only in government, not only in society, not only in the world, but for humanity, to help balance out this balance that we need to go through as we come back to Libra. Women, you're now being asked globally for all of humanity to use your divinity for destruction and chaos. And if you find a good man. Now, I'm going to try to help you understand what does that mean to find a good man. Because I'm starting to understand that women have gotten to the point where they just hate men. They think all men are dogs and ain't shit. Well, quite frankly, you know what? If you mattered to me personally, it would be an insult. That's a big ass if. If you personally mattered to me, it'd be an insult. And that's just the simplicity of, I'm standing up here every day in my real life, no matter where I go in the world, as an outstanding man. Period. With a fucking doubt. I'm out here addressing my own insecurities. I'm out here addressing my own emotional wounds, and I'm not making you responsible. And that's just for me, myself. In fact, if anything, I'm helping women to go ahead and overcome all the damage that they've been through, because there were plenty of men, and I was myself as well, one, for a period of my life. Insecure, falling into the emasculated role, falling into too much of a feminine energy. This happened in this particular life, and it needed to, so I can better understand, so I can come back now and actually teach and explain and express why are you suffering in your relationships. Why do you, as women right now, think that all men ain't shit, and you know it's not true. In this simple mindset, this is what Virgo and Venus was just going through and helping us out with, to actually go ahead and get rid of that, to shit all that negative mental thinking and patterns, and just shit it out. Just to get it out, okay? Let's help you get it out where it's never not there. I cast you and I bind you away from this body. That's it. You're out of there. So women, here's the beauty. You are coming back to the place of nurture, to the place of compassion, to the place of care. Self-care, of course, and foremost, okay? Self-care. You're healing your wounds around what has forced you in society to essentially express yourself through a hyper-masculinity. That's my girl. What's up? Now, how do you do that? First off, you have to understand your purpose and not your direction. You have to understand. Yes, you do need to understand your direction. But when I say your direction, you have to understand, what do you want to support? Now, I'm going to have to come back to you as women so I can explain what men need to do. Now, here's what men need to do, and here's how women will, in reverse, 8-8 on the screen, go through the psychological transformation as a group, as a binary society, a binary population, a binary global population, and meaning 8 billion people. Here's what we need to go through as a binary global population. We need to embrace now for men. If you're a man listening to this, and I need more men, quite frankly, to step up, and say that clear as day. Step up, get along with me. I have a men's group, matter of fact. If you're a male on here, I want you to just say I, or at bare minimum, if you can't comment, I want you to just say, go to my fucking description, send me an email, because on October 10th, I have my next men's group, and it's free to join. I have a men's group once a month, and it's free to join. So if you're a male on here, send me an email, it's in my description, and join it, because you're going to understand this way more. Because I got to work with more men, but I need you to speak the fuck up and stand the fuck up and be ready. All right? And it's free to join once a month. The next one is October 10th. And we roll early. I'm going to let you know up front. We roll at 5 in the morning on the East Coast. And if you're anywhere else, you got to figure it out. I don't know. Okay, so for men, what you're now lacking is purpose. Men, what you're now lacking is direction. All right? To better understand that, just look more deeply in your sun sign in astrology. Or you could look at your north node or where you're going. Let's say that's direction. You got to understand much more. If you need that, just book a reading with me. That's all I can give you for now. Okay, so I want to take a moment to check the poll. We got 7 votes. We see, looks like, we're looking at pretty even, 29%. 29, 29, 14, okay. 2 dominant, it's balanced. Okay, good. So, men, you need to understand where the hell you're going. Why? Because women need somebody that they know biologically they want to trust their children and their kids and their livelihood in the hands of ... She needs to, as a woman, know where you're going, and she can't know that if you don't know that. Because the thing is about feminine energy is chaos and destruction. So it is directionless. There's no direction. So as powerful as a source that she is, okay? And mind you, like I said, I'm going to add another adjective. Okay, women, peace. We're going to say, as an adjective, we're going to say fuel source. Select all, copy, send. Oh, motherfucker. They're playing games with me on this damn emoji. Okay. Alright, so we're going to say fuel source, okay? So women are the fuel to the mission, to the purpose, to the direction. So a man without a woman, without a strong woman, equivalent to where his direction, his purpose is, he will run out of fuel, okay? He will essentially get there lifelessly, without a soul. The woman is like the soul to the mission. She's the fuel source. She will be the one to support the mission, to support the directive, okay? Not only to support it, but in one of the ways that she supports it best is to magnetize and attract the resources, the people, the things that the male needs that she trusts with what? That she trusts as for the direction that he's going. If she can do that, now she feels safe. The woman can feel safe to surrender. And in fact, her biological makeup will start to see you as the apex predator as a male. And historically, through all of the animal kingdom, every woman in whatever species wants to be involved with the apex predator. To the point where if I take crabs, for example, crabs will have a dance-off for a fight. If the lesser crab, the weaker crab, knows that it can't beat the bigger, stronger crab, it will try to intimidate it. Knowing that it really has no physical chance of winning, it will use other passive-aggressive tactics in order to show that it is strong enough. And if it can then beat that bigger crab, then guess what? Even if it was smaller physically, it's now the king crab. And the woman crab, the female crab, will now come and say, look, you're the one who I trust my seeds with, my future, my children, my prophecy. So that's how it works in that crab kingdom. Now, this is all animal kingdom, quite frankly. The woman will go for the apex predator. Hit the thumbs up if you're brand new, okay? And the beauty is, if and why you want this as a male, is because without the woman, you have no soul. You have no fuel. You can't attract or magnetize your purpose. So no matter what you build, no matter how big you build it, if you build it and it has no support from the feminine, from the woman, I'm telling you as a man that you will fail. Over and over and over, and I've seen this in my real life, you will see this empire of yours build all the way up and crash down. You'll build it up again, you'll crash down. You'll keep all the force. You think, I gotta run harder, I gotta run faster, I gotta do more. And your empire will rise and it will fall. Over and over and over and over and over again. And this has happened with kings, all because the king did not get his woman to submit through her intentional and purposeful surrender. If he got her to voluntarily, not by force, voluntarily submit and surrender under her own accord, that kingdom would have never failed. And these are the kingdoms that have actually lasted. I don't know why I'm thinking Byzantine culture. I don't know why. I probably didn't even say it right. I'm thinking the Byzantine culture. Can't say that for a fact, right? I'm thinking, damn. Whatever the civilizations that lasted for a very long time. It's really interesting and true. Thank you, Sharina. I appreciate you. I'm blanking. I'm not going to go chase what civilization has lasted, but just look at it and watch how the male had treated his woman, even though throughout time and history, he never needed to treat her by standards and societal expectations, which Libra is all about. This Libra season, Venus in Libra, is now in our relationships changing what are the expectations of the relationship dynamic. And because of this and what I'm speaking about, because it's honest to God absolutely so true, what you're going to notice is a lot of relationships are going to fail this month. And it's going to fail primarily because the male was not clear on his purpose and direction. And the female caught up with it, and she realizes that there's a bigger, better apex predator as a male that she can go ahead and do what she do and attract. She can go ahead and attract and magnetize a bigger, better predator. Somebody that will embrace the legacy of her family, the legacy of her own ovaries, her seed, okay, her womb, her divine feminine energy. She understands that she can find somebody who will be more sustainable. The empire will last longer with. So for my men that are insecure, okay, who are depending on their women, especially if you're living in your, I don't even want to say it as simple as this, but if you're still sitting there stuck in your mom's basement, okay, with no plan, no direction, it ain't bad to be stuck in your mom's basement. But if you ain't got no plan, you ain't got no direction, you ain't got no purpose as for why you're there and you're just there, it ain't nothing wrong with having to take a moment to go back home to try to figure it out. But you need to have a fucking exit date. In all sincerity, if you're a man, you need to have a plane ticket in if you're going to do that, and you don't need to have one already leaving out before you return. Because what a male needs in this masculine form of divinity is pressure. He needs a challenge. The moment that a male does not feel challenged or does not stand up and address the challenges is the moment that he not only failed himself, but he failed his woman, he failed his relationship. Primarily, he failed himself, but he also failed his woman, and he's going to fail that relationship. Now, on a separate note, women, if I go back to you, your job is to take a man, out of his mind, which he needs to be in to have the clarity and the rationality to stay focused on the purpose and the direction. You gotta take him out of his mind. You gotta put him into his heart. Because logical and rational decisions cannot be made from the heart, even if he has passion. And I'm a guy, I'm a male with a lot of heart. I'm a male with a lot of passion. Yet and still, as much as I have for passion, I need to make sure that my heart and my mind are more in cohesion and coercion, that they're cohesive. Okay? And I gotta act from the place of there. And as a part of that, the intellect will have to start taking in order for me to stay clear. Why? Because the feminine energy is what? What's the feminine? Okay. Right there. While she's going through chaos, while she's destroying the obstacles in your way, okay, so that it's not the male's job to fight all the obstacles. All he needs to do is be clear on what the obstacle is. Let his woman know, and the woman with all of her feminine divinity will destroy it. She will destroy it. But as she's destroying it, he can't focus on the destruction. Now, from a physical standpoint, if there's a threat or a predator in the home, yeah, he needs to go ahead and step the fuck up, which is a part of his job as the purpose and direction, aka the one steering the ship with his logic and rationality, right? He's steering the ship, okay? So he's the point, which means that the women, and I say women plural, I do say that, the women plural, which can be a client, which can be his actual wife, okay, which might potentially be his mistress, all right, which could be his fucking daughter, okay, the women, which can be his friend, all the women in his ship that he's steering. Guess what? He's the point. So it means that he's gonna face the first threat. He's gonna be the first to check in with the threat, and then from there he will have to assess the threat. Is there something that he needs to make sure he takes care of today and right now? So something like an intruder in the home, okay, he needs to go lay his ass down. Now that's very different than having a spiritual, a psychological, or an emotional threat to the purpose and direction. This is what he needs to inform the woman about, and she will destroy it and know how to do it in the most intuitive and compassionate way, even though it might get ugly. Thank you for that like and that thumbs up. I do see you. I appreciate you. Okay. To be honest, this is that point where if you have questions, drop them in the chat because it'll help me understand, because there's just, this is, I'm covering a very, very big topic in all sincerity, right? Like, I almost need to come on here with a guest who understands what I'm talking about to share it back and forth. Otherwise, it would have to be you commenting in the chat. Now, with that said, you can only obviously do that if you remember, right? So here's what I will do. I will say, here's how you can join. I want you to ask those questions. Check in with the new custom-made emojis. All right, gang. Love them. Ask your questions. If it ain't that, I need to talk a little bit about this particular topic, and I'm not going to go too deep because it's about to be my bedtime. Getting ready to log off. Tantra. The entire world is moving towards Tantra. All right? This will be very triggering for a lot of people. As you go through the purification, and basically men or women do not make it or survive, okay? If they do not make it or survive, because let's say the male is too insecure, or the feminine, the woman, could not find herself surrendering to a man. First off, that's very painful for her because it's part of her natural biological makeup, and if she can't do that, she suffers. But not only does she suffer, but their relationship suffers, and it still fails. If the male and the woman does not get on board, they all fail, okay? Now, more standardly, the male, in my personal opinion, needs to be more clear. And this is why globally we're suffering the most, because I do believe in the masses that there are more men in today's age that are out of balance energetically from a feminine and a masculine perspective. I will say that clear without a doubt. Clear without a doubt. Now, why is Tantra one of the themes that's coming up? I think this is a lot for women, especially because a lot of women have been sexually abused. It is what it is. And Tantra is one of those forms where now we'll bring in the physical with the spiritual, and women have a natural connection that seems to be very clearly much easier for the woman to combine her body with spirit. Now, the unfortunate matter of why that's true is because a lot of women have been historically, generationally, ancestrally, and modern day abused at a sexual level. And so she is being, in a sense, invited to experience more tantric practices where she's leaving the physical and she's implementing tantric practices or even sexuality practices into the spirit, linking at a soul level and not pounding at a physical level. So, the magic of that is, I honestly God do believe that women are leading that movement, but the problem is women can't lead that very well without the presence of men joining in. So I need to have these talks more. These are things that I have an understanding of myself. I do intend to have more and more chats and discussions about this because I'm not going to lie, I do recognize how slim the masculine pool is to have this level of discussion with any self-esteemed consciousness, okay? Because this is one of the problems with men, like globally their self-esteem is fucking doo-doo, okay? It's just dog shit. It just is. I can't lie. That's why I'm hosting a men's group at least once a month, and I'm doing it for free. So if you're a male and you're on here, or if you know a male, okay? Because I'm not gonna lie, like there's not gonna be a lot of males gonna hit my channel. So this is also as simple as if you know a male, all right? Go ahead and tell him that he need to get his ass on this channel. You got a brother, everybody do. You got an uncle, we all do. All right, we all do. Help it out. Okay, so I might have to have a separate talk for Tantra. It's great that you're in a group thing for the guys. Yeah, it's a must. It has to happen. We have to switch it up somewhere. Thank you for being here, Shireen. Yeah, I feel like maybe I'm feeling like the Tantra is not the topic today. I might have to make a topic just and solely on Tantra. But at least for Venus and Virgo, I took a different approach. I mean, this is just who I am. But Libra's balance, okay, purification. This is the balance and purification of the masculine and the feminine and sexuality. I did the best I can to explain it under, in this moment, limited circumstances. Because at this point, like, I would find myself likely running in a circle. So, thank you. Hit the thumbs up. I want to say I love you, appreciate you. Check in with the membership. Cost you nothing to be here. Essentially, I made it only as one so that everybody can be involved. Okay, this is the inclusion drug that I do want to say, hell yeah, I rock with it. Kudos. I am building memberships offline on my websites, which will actually include a lot more, but at least for this platform, this will be what it is. All right. If I gave it the last run, masculine and feminine energy, I appreciate you. Masculine and feminine energy. Masculine is purpose and direction. He must get clear. Every man will get into a place in his life where he will be absolutely in the dark. And he needs to understand that this is where he needs to be most comfortable. A man. Now, this is also where men break the most. This is where men begin to drink, find their way out through escapism, begin to cheat on their wives, because he can't withstand being in the dark. He can't withstand being in the unknown and the uncertainty. And those are the moments where he is basically being blessed with divinity if he can withstand it. And the problem is there's not a lot. They're finding their way out through, again, honestly, biggest alcohol or beating their women, okay, at the fucking lowest level. Like, I wish a motherfucker would come knock on my door and tell me he beat his wife. I'll slap the fuck out of him silly, because that's just stupid, okay? Once you could pick up somebody your own size. Beyond that, drinking, smoking, fucking sex with just randoms, all right? That's one of the ways of his escape. But masculine, to get back on board, to get back on track, focus on what is your purpose and what's your direction, and understand that no two things as a man are more important. If and when you do that, you will have a flock of women. Even if you do not preach it as a message, you have a flock of women that you can now rightfully choose from. Or for the women on the opposite side, it's like what you really need to focus on is recognizing your true abilities. which are the ability to magnetize, okay, the resources, the things, and the people who will fit and support, who will fit and who you want to support as for a masculine counterpart. Or beyond and outside of that, your ability to destroy and actually be chaotic and flow in all of your emotion and all of your divinity, much like water that can crash, okay, in the ocean, or that can soothe and heal, which is where the compassion and the healing nature, because now you have a male has purpose and direction. Remember, he's the forefront of the ship, so he's going to take a lot of wounds. He's going to take a lot of battle wounds because he's literally taking out a lot of the threats before it even reaches you. And when he recognizes he come across something that he can't destroy in a sense on his own, just because of his sheer force that he's pushing forward towards that person's direction, he will then need you as the feminine, the woman, to be his witch, okay, to be his bruja, to be his, his background support, which feminine energy is, to go ahead and say, look, you know what, I need a blockage spell, I need an abundance spell, I need a fucking whatever the hell it is, okay. That's when he needs his woman to go ahead and pray for him, to pray for the group, to pray for the marriage, to pray for the relationship, whatever it is, to remove the things that he's not going to just by sheer force, and go ahead and to support the mission, which in return, guess what? She's not supporting his mission because she shouldn't be with him if she doesn't agree with his direction. She shouldn't be with him because she doesn't agree with his purpose, whatever the fuck his purpose is, okay? So if I take an example, and let's say my purpose is to go ahead and wake up those that are sleeping, okay, simple as that. If she wants to also wake up those that are supporting, recognize as a woman that you're not going to make it very far alone without a masculine support. I say that with no disrespect. What you want to do is you want to find yourself an apex predator, quite frankly, in your field of purpose and direction that you want, and realize that you can't take the same wounds or recover from the same physical injuries that the male might undergo. You need him to take those initial hits so that you can then assess the damage and take it from there from an intuitive standpoint, from a soft and a gentle standpoint, even realizing that the most dangerous in the jungle is who? The female out of every family. When she's protecting her cubs, she's always has been more dangerous than the fucking male. And we've all seen that with a mother protecting her children. She's the most dangerous. So it's not about threat or this or that. It's about the consistency of she can't sustain that level of adrenaline. She can't sustain that level of physicality or protection. And it's not her purpose. So just because she is the most dangerous, it's not her purpose to be the most dangerous. It's her purpose, okay, to nurture, to be compassionate, all right? To be magnetic and support and draw in the resources, the people, the things, the connections that purpose and direction actually will benefit most from, which is also in alignment with. What you're going to recognize during Venus and Libra season is that everybody's not in alignment and they're going to get dumped. All right, so that was my summary of everything I already said. I want to say thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. All right, I'm up out of here. Shireen, thank you for the support. And I will see you soon. Thank you for the thumbs up. Hit it one last time if you haven't yet, just because you love the channel, you love the growth. And I am out of here. Bam. Did that work? Yeah, it worked. Yeah. Check in. Tap in with the membership, baby. My first membership here on YouTube. I love it. I appreciate you. I'm out.